Hello and welcome to German Lessons with Mr. Ferguson. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Deutschunterricht mit Herrn Ferguson. Diese 8. grammatische Stunde, the 8th grammar lesson, ist die Verneinung, negation. Before wir anfangen, please remember to like this video, bitte klickt gefällt mir, and to subscribe to my channel, so that I can keep helping you with your German. Bitte vergesst nicht zu abonnieren. If you're enjoying my videos, please consider buying me a coffee by clicking the banner now. All contributions are gratefully received and allow me to continue to bring you new and exciting German content whilst keeping it free to access on YouTube. Thank you to those of you who've already contributed. It's very much appreciated. Vielen Dank. To begin with, it's important to know what negation is. Essentially, negation is saying the opposite to something else. For example, the difference between I go shopping and I don't go shopping. It would be a missed opportunity to do a video on negation and not mention how to say no. The usual word you'll hear is nein, meaning no. But you might also hear nee, nö, or na in different regions. In German, there are 4 main ways of causing negation, and these are as follows. Adverbs, which describe how verbs are done, including if they are not done, such as nicht, which means not, and nie, which means never. The article kein, and its alternative forms, which means no or not any, and the pronoun niemand and its alternative forms, meaning no one. Nicht is an adverb, which means it describes a verb, but it can also be used to negate a simple fact, and we'll look at this usage first. Das ist meine Frau. That is my wife. Nein, das ist nicht meine Frau. No, that is not my wife. Mathe ist einfach. Maths is easy. Nein, Mathe ist nicht einfach. No, maths is not easy. When used with a verb, things get a little less literal. In German, we have a word order rule, which means that the verb has to be the second idea of a sentence. Keep a lookout for the next 3-part grammar video, which will discuss word order in German, for a more in-depth explanation of this. Taking this verb second rule into account, the word nicht can come in one of 2 places, either immediately after the verb or at the end of the clause, and the difference in meaning is only slight. For example, ich gehe nicht in die Stadt. I am not going to town, but it is implied that I'm going somewhere else. Or, ich gehe in die Stadt nicht. I am not going to town, as in I'm not going anywhere. If using the first option, we also tend to use the connective sondern, which means but rather. For example, ich spiele nicht Fußball, sondern Rugby. I'm not playing football, but rather rugby. The second option is more common. Putting nicht at the end of a clause negates the whole clause, and think of it like a not joke, like the one in Borat. This suit is black, not. For example, ich spiele Fußball nicht. I don't play football. Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. The word nie, which means never, is an adverb, so has to come after the verb, keeping the verb second as mentioned above. Ich spiele nie Fußball. I never play football. Ich gehe nie in die Stadt. I never go to town. In order to fully understand this lesson, it's useful if you have an understanding of the definite articles, the words for the in German, and the indefinite articles, the words for a or an in German. If you're not sure what these are, please watch lessons 6, parts A and B to recap by first clicking here. You should be familiar with the article keine, meaning no or none, as it has come up in our indefinite article table as the plural article. Every article in the indefinite article table, such as einen, eine, ein, can have a k added to the front to negate its meaning. Think of these forms of kein as meaning no, as in not any or none. For example, ich habe keinen Bruder. I have no brother, or I don't have a brother. Ich esse kein Fleisch. I eat no meat, as in I don't eat meat. We use the word kein and its declinations to negate nouns, as you can see here, whereas we use the word nicht to negate verbs. A nice phrase which uses a form of kein is the phrase Auf keinen Fall, meaning definitely not, or literally, in no case. Auf keinen Fall macht das. He definitely isn't doing that. The pronoun niemand, meaning no one, appears in 4 different forms in German, which depends on the cases. These forms look and behave like the definite articles der, den, dem, and des. For example, nominative niemand, such as niemand war da, no one was there. Accusative niemanden, for example, ich habe niemanden gesehen, I saw no one. Dative niemandem, for example, ich werde niemandem helfen, I will help no one, or I won't help anyone. And genitive, which would be niemandes, although this is extremely rare. Finally, there are some other words which can cause negation, but are used in interesting ways. These are nichts, meaning nothing. For example, ich habe nichts gegessen, I ate nothing. Niemals, meaning never, and this is an alternative to nie. Noch nie, which means not yet or never up to this point in time. For example, ich war noch nie in Deutschland. I was not yet in Germany. Or I have never been to Germany. Or I've never yet been to Germany. Another negative word you might hear in German is nirgendwo, which means nowhere. It's the negative version of the word irgendwo, which means somewhere or anywhere. It's a relatively low-frequency word, but will always stay the same, unlike niemand. It's used when something can't be done anywhere, such as konnte sie nirgendwo finden. He couldn't find her anywhere. Ich kann das Auto nirgendwo sehen. I can't see the car anywhere. It's also used in the following set phrases. Mitten im Nirgendwo, in the middle of nowhere. Nirgendwo zu finden, nowhere to be found. Nirgendwo zu sehen, nowhere to be seen. It's also found in the title of the Oscar-winning film Nirgendwo in Afrika, which tells the story of a Jewish lawyer who escapes the Nazis by fleeing to Kenya, and is well worth a watch. So that's how negation works in German. It's a good idea to pause the video now to recap how to use nicht, nie, kein, and niemand, as well as the other negation words I mentioned. Habe ich etwas vergessen? Have I forgotten something? If you're a native German speaker and you think I've left out some important information about negation in German, die Verneinung, please write a comment below. Bitte schreibt einen Kommentar. Finally, remember to click subscribe to receive all of my German lesson videos, language learning tips and updates. You can follow me on Instagram with the username Herr Ferguson or on Twitter under @HerrFerguson. Otherwise, from me, it's Danke und auf Wiedersehen.